Om Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye. Namaskar and welcome back to Amar Bharati Samskrita YouTube channel, where we are studying the Shemushi Prathamo Bhagaha CBSE class 9 Sanskrit textbook. In that we now look at the Dvadashaha Pathaha Vaangmanapraanasvaroopam. The meaning of this is lesson 12. The essential nature, Svaroopam means essential nature of what? Of Vaak. Vaak is speech, Manah is mind, and Praana. Praana are the vital airs. Vaangmanapraanasvaroopam means the essential nature of speech, mind, and Praana or the vital airs. We now look at an English explanation of this particular lesson. Now there is an introductory paragraph. We will see the sandhis here. Prastutaha plus ayam is prastutoyam. Chandogya plus upanishadaha is chandogyopanishadaha. Shashtha plus adhyayaha is shashtadhyayaha. Samudhrataha plus asti is samudhratosti. Krita plus asti is kritasti. Acharyaha plus cha is acharyascha. You now look at the meaning. Prastutoyam pathaha, this current lesson. Chandogyopanishadaha shashtadhyayasya panchamakhandat samudhratosti. Prastutoyam pathaha Chandogyopanishada shashtadhyayasya panchamakhandat samudhratosti. This current lesson is taken from the 5th khanda, panchamakhandat, of the 6th chapter, shashtadhyayasya, of the Chandogyopanishad. Pathyamshe, in this lesson, Mano Vishayakam, Prana Vishayakam, Vaag Vishayakam cha Rochakam Tathyam Prakashitam Asti. Rochakam Tathyam means an enlightening or splendid or interesting truth. Tathyam is truth. Regarding what? Mano Vishayakam, regarding the mind. Prana Vishayakam, regarding the pranas. And Vaag Vishayakam, regarding the speech. Prakashitam asti, is shown. Atra Upanishadi Varnita Guhyatattvanam. The secret truths described in this Upanishad, Atra Upanishadi Varnita Guhyatattvanam. Guhyatattva means secret truths revealed in this Upanishad. Saralyena avabodhartam are described here in a simple manner. How? Aruni Shvetaketvo Samvada Madhyamena, in the form of a conversation between Aruni and Shvetaketu. Vaangmanaprananam paricharcha kritasti, and these give an introduction or a discussion to speech, mind, and pranas. Rishi Kula Paramparayam, in the tradition of the rishis, Jnana Praptehe Trini sadhanani santi. There are 3 means of acquiring knowledge. Teshu pariprashnaha api ekam anyatamam sadhanam asti. Among these, questioning is one of the means. Pariprashna is questioning. What are the other 2 means? They are not mentioned in this paragraph, but the other 2 means are approaching and doing namaskara to the Guru and serving the Guru. This is according to what Lord Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 4, verse 34. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha is what Lord Krishna tells. So, pranipata, pariprashna and seva, these are the 3 means. Atra guru sevana patuhu shishyaha. Here the student involved in serving the teacher. Vaangmanapraanavishayakaन् prashnāन् pritchati, asks questions regarding the speech, mind, and pranas. Acharyascha tesham prashnānām samadhanam karoti, and the acharya gets his questions resolved. The acharya answers his questions. We go further. Note that the word pranas, meaning vital airs, is generally used in plural Bahuvachanam in Sanskrit? Because in our body, how many pranas are there? There are 5 pranas, that is Prana, Apana, Samana, Udana and Vyana, and also 5 Upapranas, means sub-vital airs like Naga, Kurma, Krikara, Devadatta and Dhananjaya. These are the 10 pranas available. 5 of them are Mukhya pranas, main pranas, and 5 of them are Upapranas, as shown here. There are 2 characters in this particular lesson. They are Aruni, seated here, you can see, who is the Guru, who is also the father. Shvetaketu, seated here, is the son and also the student. Aruni is Guru and father, Shvetaketu is student and son. Now we go to the lesson. Shvetaketu. Shvetaketu asks, Bhagavan, O Lord, Shvetaketu Raham. Shvetaketu plus Aham is Shvetaketu Raham. I am Shvetaketu. One day I bow down to you. Arunihi. Aruni replies, Vatsa Chiranjiva. O child, may you live long. Shvetaketu. Bhagavan. Shvetaketu says, O Lord, Kinchit prashtum ichhami. Kinchit plus prashtum plus ichhami. I would like to ask you something. O Lord, I would like to ask you something. Further, Aruni replies, Vatsa, O child, Kim adya tvaya prashtavyam asti. Kim plus adya is kim adya. Prashtavyam plus asti is prashtavyam asti. Today, what is it? Adya is today. What is it that is to be questioned, asked by you? What is it that you would like to know from me? Is the meaning. Shvetaketu replies, Bhagavan, O Lord, Jnatum ichhami. I would like to know. Yat kimidam manah. Kim plus idam is kimidam. What is this mind? Means, what is the nature of this mind? Aruni replies, Vatsa, Ashitasya annasya. Ashitasya plus annasya is Ashitasyannasya. Yonishtaha. Yaha plus anishtaha is Yonishtaha. Tanmanaha. Tat plus manaha is Tanmanaha. Ashitasyannasya Yonishtaha Tanmanaha. Whichever is the subtlest or the most subtle part of the food that is eaten, that is the mind. If you look at the word Anishtaha, Anishtaha here, Anu means atom and Anishtaha means atomic in size, means extremely small, extremely subtle, very subtle, most subtle, subtlest is the meaning of Anishtaha. So, whichever is the subtlest part of the food that is eaten, that is the mind, is the answer. Then Shvetaketu further asks, Kascha pranaha. Kaha plus cha is kascha. What is prana? Aruni replies, Pitanam apam yonishtaha saha pranaha. Whichever is the subtlest or most subtle part of the water that is consumed or drunk, that is prana. Shvetaketu further asks, Bhagavan, ka iyam vak. What is speech? What is the speech? Aruni replies, Vatsa, O child, Ashitasya tejasa yonishtaha sa vak. Whichever is the subtlest or the most subtle part of the energy that is consumed, that is speech. Soumya, O good one, Manah annamayam. Mind is made up of food. Pranaha apomayaha. Prana is made up of water or liquid. And Vakcha tejomayi bhavati. And speech is made up of energy. Etat ityapi avadharyam. Iti plus api plus avadharyam is ityapya avadharyam. Let this be known to you. Let this be remembered by you throughout your life, is what Aruni is telling his son Shvetaketu. Next, Shvetaketu further asks, Bhagavan, O Lord, Bhuya eva mam vijñāpayatu. Please let me know once again. Aruni replies, Soumya, O good one, Savadhanam shrunu. Listen with attention. Madhyamanasya dadhnaha. Dadhi is curd, of the curd which is madhyamana, which is churned. Yonima, the subtlest part. what happens to it? Saha urdhvaha samudishati. It rises up. The subtlest part of the curd which is churned rises up. Ardha viramaha and settles there. Tat sarpihi bhavati. Tat plus sarpihi is tat sarpihi. That becomes butter oil, what we know as ghee. Sarpi means ghee. Ghritam. Next, Shvetaketu further asks, Bhagavan, O Lord, Bhavata Gritotpatti Rahasyam Vyakhyatam. Grita plus Utpatti Rahasyam is Gritotpatti Rahasyam. You told about the secret of producing ghee. Rahasya is secret. Bhuyopi, Bhuyaha plus api, Bhuyopi. Once again, one more time. Shrotum ichhami, Shrotum plus ichhami, Shrotum ichhami. I would like to listen again. One more time, I would like to listen, is what Shvetaketu says. Aruni replies, Evameva Saumya, Evam plus Eva, Evameva. Like this only, similar to this, O good one. Evameva Saumya. Ashyamanasya annasya. Of the food which is eaten, Yonima, the subtlest part, Saha urdhvaha samudishati, that rises upwards. Tan mano bhavati, tati plus mano is tan mano, that becomes the mind. Avagatam nava, did you understand this? Shvetaketu, samyak avagatam bhagavan. Samyak plus avagatam is samyak avagatam. Understood it well, O Lord, is what Shvetaketu replies. Further, Aruni says, Vatsa, O child, Piyamananam apam yonima, of the water which is consumed or drunk, the subtlest part, Saha urdhvaha samudishati, the subtlest part rises upwards. Sa eva prano bhavati, and it itself becomes prana. Shvetaketuhu, Bhagavan, O Lord, Vacham api vijnapayetu. Vacham plus api is Vacham api. O Lord, please tell me about speech also. Vacham api also. Then Aruni replies, here are the sandhis here. Vak plus bhavati is Vag bhavati. Upadesha plus ante is Upadeshante. Bhuyaha plus api is Bhuyo api. Vijnapayitum plus ichhami is Vijnapayitum ichhami. Vak plus iti is Vagiti. Yadrisham plus annadikam is Yadrisham annadikam. Manavaha plus Tadrisham plus Eva is Manavas Tadrisham Eva. Chitta plus Adikam is Chittadikam. Bhavati plus iti is Bhavati iti. Mat plus Upadesha Saraha is Madupadesha Saraha. Etat plus Sarvam is Etat Sarvam. We look at the meaning. Aruni replies, Soumya, O good one, Ashyamanasya Tejasaha Yonima. Of the energy which is consumed, the subtlest part, Saha urdhvaha samudishati, that the subtlest part rises upwards. Sakhalu vagbhavati, that this indeed becomes speech. Vatsa, O child, upadeshante, at the end of the instruction, bhuyopi, once more, again, vijnapayitum ichhami yat, I would like to again narrate to you what yat annamayam bhavati manah. The essence of food becomes the mind. Apomayo bhavati pranaha. The essence of water becomes the pranas. Tejomayi cha bhavati vag iti. And the essence of energy becomes speech. Kincha yadrisham annadikam grinnati. Also, whatever type of food, adi, and anna adikam. Adi means other things like water and energy that a person consumes, grinnati, that a person takes in, manavaha, tadrishameva, that a person manavaha takes in, tadrishameva tasya chittadikam bhavati iti. That person's mind, prana and speech become like that only. So depending on whatever food, water, energy a person consumes, the person's mind, prana and speech become like that only. Iti mad upadesha saraha. This is a summary of my instruction. Vatsa, O child, etat sarvam hridayena avadharaya. Bear all these things in your heart. Means remember this throughout your life, is what Aruni is telling Shvetaketu. the last part, Shvetaketu replies, Yat Ajnapayati, Yat plus Ajnapayati is Yadajnapayati Bhagavan. As you command, my lord, Esha Pranamami, I now bow down to you. Aruni replies, Vatsa, O child, Chiranjiva, may you live long. Tejasvinau adhitamastu. Avayoho adhitam tejasvi astu. Means, may what we have both learnt, may what we both have learnt make us filled with effulgence, brilliance. You may remember this shloka which we tell almost every day. Sahana bhavatu sahanau bhunattu sahaviryam karavavahihi tejasvina avadhitamastu. Means, may what we both have learnt make us filled with effulgence and brilliance. Now there is a short grammar and notes part in this particular lesson, Vaangmanapraanasvaroopam. In this grammar, in this notes part, I will also tell you a short story towards the end of this section. Introduction to the Upanishads. Upanishads constitute the final conclusive part of the Vedas. These Upanishads discuss about the ultimate reality of this universe, which is the supreme Brahman. Upanishads are considered as the highest, the loftiest literature in the world, considering all languages of the world put together. Though there are 108 Upanishads, predominantly 10 of them are considered important. These are told in the form of a shloka. Isha kena katha prashna munda mandukyati tirihi aitareyancha chandogyam brihadaranyakam tatha. The Upanishads, 10 principal Upanishads are Ishavasyopanishad, Kenopanishad, also called Talvakaropanishad, Kathopanishad, Prashnopanishad, Mundakopanishad, Mandukyopanishad, Taittiriyopanishad, Aitareyopanishad, Chandogyopanishad and Brihadaranyakapanishad. I would recommend that you make it a point to study these 10 Upanishads at least once in your lifetime, later in your lifetime. As long as you are living, you make a point to study these Upanishads at least once in your lifetime. They are the very precious, very valuable literature. Next, introduction to Chandogyopanishad. Chandogyopanishad is one of the 10 principal Upanishads. This is an important part of the Samaveda Upanishad Brahmana. The description in this Upanishad is most scientific and logical. Along with the realization of the self, the Atma Jnana, description of many useful worldly duties and worship practices are given here. Chandogyopanishad has 8 chapters. In the 6th chapter of the Upanishad, a detailed description of the important statement Tattvamasi, thou art that, is given. Further, Aruni gives a description to his son Shvetaketu that the food consumed by a person becomes threefold in the body. The grossest part of the food becomes waste material and goes out of the body. The gross part of the food becomes the muscles of the body. The most subtle part, the subtlest part of the food becomes the mind. The water consumed by a person becomes threefold in the body. The grossest part of the water becomes urine and goes out of the body. The gross part becomes blood. The subtlest part becomes prana. The energy consumed also becomes threefold in the body. The grossest part becomes the bones. The gross part becomes the bone marrow and the subtlest part becomes speech. Food is consumed by a person in the form of rice, etc. This food indeed becomes the mind of a person. Food procured by rightfully, justly earned money, and money earned by dharmic means, truthfully earned money, becomes sattvika in nature. By consuming such food, the mind also becomes sattvika. Food procured by wrongfully earned money with accusations, defects, etc. becomes tamasika kind of food. The moral of the story is that consumption of sattvika food makes the mind sattvika in nature. Consumption of rajasa food makes the mind rajasa, and consumption of tamasa food makes the mind tamasa or tamasika. In this world, water is indeed life, and prana is made up of water. Oil, ghee, when consumed, result in good speech and help in acquiring and growing oratory skills, means speaking skills. This is why speech is considered to be made up of energy. Now, a short summary. According to Chandogya Upanishad, mind, thoughts is made up of the subtlest part of the food we consume. Pranas are made up of the subtlest part of the liquid we consume, the water we consume, and speech is made up of the subtlest part of the energy we consume, either positive energy or negative energy. If we take in only positive things through all the instruments which we have, through the eyes, ears, nose, etc., speech, eyes, ears, nose, skin and smell, then we get our speech also becomes positive, becomes better. If we consume only negative things, then our speech will become negative in nature. Now I'll tell you a short story about Bhishmacharya to tell you about the significance of the food we eat, dharma versus adharma. A story is told in the Mahabharata. After the Kurukshetra war, the grandsire Bhishma is lying on a bed of arrows and at the same time gives an elaborate discourse to Dharmaraya, that is Yudhishthira, and others in the presence of Lord Krishna about the concept of dharma and how to adhere to it, how to follow dharma while running the kingdom. At that time, Draupadi, who is listening, asks him, "Where was your dharma when I was being disrobed in the king's court by Dushasana?" Then Bhishma replies, "At that time, when you were being disrobed, I was consuming the food provided by Duryodhana, and that food was tainted with adharma. Therefore, the thought of dharma did not come to my mind at that time. Now, because these arrows have pierced me and removed all my bad blood, my mind is filled with dharma. Therefore, I can talk about dharma extensively at this particular point of time." So, because of these arrows which have pierced me, all the bad blood is drained out, and therefore I am only having bones in my body, and therefore I can tell about dharma. This short story tells about the importance of food we eat, how pure it should be in order for our thoughts and conduct to be noble. Now, the mayat pratyaya, there is a suffix called mayat pratyaya in Samskrita, which gives the meanings of is composed of, abundance of, is made up of, or transformation of, or modification of. In these senses, the mayat pratyaya is used. The forms of this pratyaya vary according to masculine, feminine, or neuter genders. When this mayat pratyaya is used, the last t does not appear, only the maya appears in the final word. We will see some examples. When the mayat pratyaya is used in the sense of composed of or having abundance of, these are some examples. Shanti plus mayat is Shanti Mayaha in Pullinga, Shanti Mayi in Strilinga, and Shanti Mayam in Napumsakalinga, which means abundance of peace. Ananda plus mayat is Ananda Mayaha in Pullinga, Ananda Mayi in Strilinga, and Ananda Mayam in Napumsakalinga, abundance of happiness or bliss. Sukha plus mayat is Sukha Mayaha in Pullinga, Sukhamayi in Strilinga, and Sukhamayam in Napumsakalinga, abundance of happiness again. Tejaha plus mayat is Tejomayaha in Pullinga, Tejomayi in Strilinga, Tejomayam in Napumsakalinga, abundance of energy or effulgence. Some example sentences are Rashtram Shantimayam asti. The nation is filled with peace. Nation has abundance of peace. Manah anandamayaha vartate. The mind is filled with bliss or happiness. Sarvam brahmamayam asti. Everything is filled with Brahman. Further, when the mayat pratyaya is used in the sense of is made of, transformation of or modification of, then some examples are like this. Mrityu plus mayat is mrinmayaha in pullinga, mrinmayi in strilinga, and mrinmayam in napumsakalinga, made of mud or clay. Svarna plus mayat is swarnamayaha in pullinga, swarnamayi in strilinga, and swarnamayam in napumsakalinga, made of gold. Lauha plus mayat is lauhamayaha in pullinga, lauhamayi in strilinga, lauhamayam in napumsakalinga, made of metal. Some example sentences are: Ghatam mrinmayam asti. The pot is made of clay. Abharanam swarnamayam asti. The ornament is made of gold. Now one last topic. Water is considered as life itself. Jivayati lokan jalam is a saying. This is one of the 5 great elements, Panchabhutani. Jivayati lokan jalam is water makes the worlds to live, is what is the meaning. The 5 elements, Panchabhutani, are Prithvi, earth, up is water, Tejas is fire, Vayu is air, and Akasha is sky or ether. The synonyms of Jalam are Vari, Paniyam, Udakam, Udam, Salilam, Toyam, Neeram, Ambu, Ambas, and Payas. Paniyam praninam pranaha tadayatvam hi jivanam toya bhave pipasarthaha kshanat pranif vimuchyate. Water is a life for all beings. Life itself is dependent on water. In the absence of water, a thirsty one indeed gives up his life entirely. You can download printable versions of these slides at the link given in the description below. This brings me to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share. See you in the next video with the exercises part of the same lesson. Dvadashaha Pathaha Vaangmanapraanasvaroopam. YouTube Amarabharati Samskrita. Shubham Bhuyat. Mangalamastu. Vande Mataram. Shri Krishnarpanamastu.